What's something fucked up you witnessed as a child but you were oblivious to until you grew up? I was sexually assaulted at 13 while doing a play at a local theater, but looking back there were other moments where I was assaulted by the same person but didn't understand leading up to the main event. For example, he would try to rub my back and I just thought he was being nice, or he would play and stroke my hair. I didn't know any better and I didn't like him at all, so I thought if I ignored it he would just stop eventually. My mom caught wind of what he was like and tried to make sure that I didn't dance with him for the dance scene and stuff, but it didn't change anything. He went on to assault multiple minors from 17 to 3. The police never did anything, stating that they had no evidence, even though about 5 girls including myself shared their story. The dude was an ex-worker for Disney and had a fiancée his age. He was in his 60s. In grade 1 a girl used to finger herself down there and would teach other girls of our class as well. It was an activity that the girls did in secrecy. I knew it was bad because in kindergarten a security guard of my dad's office building had done the same thing to me. Years later I realized that not only I was molested but my classmate was also being molested by someone. I wasn't a child, but when I was in college I lived with my Uncle Tom, who was only 4 years older than me. He used to come home from work with a 6-pack of beer and would crack one open as he walked in the door and offer me one. 15 years later, just before he died a meth addict, we talked about the good old days when we lived together. He confessed to me that after work he would put a 6-pack and a 40 ounces beer. He would drink the entire 40 ounces bottle and then walk into the house like he was just cracking his first can of beer. That always stuck with me. I'm fairly certain my 6th grade teacher was a pedophile. I distinctly remember him trying to convince me that I needed to come to his house to try the video game I was talking to him about on the bus on a field trip. Thinking back on it, it just feels so creepy. I was waiting for my mom to get home and it felt like it was taking an extra long time. I asked my father where she was. His response? Probably out getting raped. He was abusive and turned into a drug-abusing narcissist who still refuses to acknowledge his wrongdoings. Pretty fucked up, and it's weird to remember these things as a kid. When I was 5 or 6, my mom used to never want to get out of bed and just kept saying she was sick. Finally, my stepdad took her to a hospital, where she stayed for nearly a month. I thought it was so cool that her hospital let her do arts and crafts all the time, plus she got better and started doing arts and crafts with me too when she got home. I remember telling her that I wished I could go to the hospital and draw all day. She sat me down and told me that she hoped I would never get sick like she did. But if I do, there's nothing wrong with needing help to get better, even if you have to go somewhere for a little while to do it. It wasn't until I was probably 12 or 13 and didn't want to get out of bed myself that it clicked that the hospital she had gone to was a mental health hospital. But because of her, I've never felt shame about needing therapy when things are getting bad, or even just to maintain a healthy mindset. When I was little, a girl I met on vacation talked about sexual stuff a lot. When my parents found out, they didn't want me to play with her anymore. Now that I'm an adult, it occurs to me that there was probably a reason as to why she talked about that stuff so much. Finding out that breaking a cup or spilling a drink wasn't a big deal was quite an eye-opener. Watching my girlfriend look at me like I'm nuts while I apologize for 20 minutes about dropping a glass of water made me reevaluate a lot of my childhood.